It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down. It's like a loop machine.
Welcome back to the BCSN Sports Wrap. Got another conversation, preseason basketball conversation with a head coach of one of our HBCUs. This time, we're going to look at the women's side of the game. Joining us today from the original Lincoln University in Pennsylvania, the Lady Lions, head coach Darrell Mosley. Darrell is in his sixth season with Lincoln. He's got 81 wins in those 6 seasons. So, Coach Mosley, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me today.
All right, how's everything going on campus? You know, especially dealing with the COVID. How's the family? Go ahead and just give us a little bit of update what's going on up there in Pennsylvania besides cold weather coming.
Oh, yeah. Well, the family is doing great. Everybody's doing fine. My parents just bought a new home in Delaware, so they'll be closing and moving here soon in December. So I'm happy for them. Always engaged, you know, with them not being too far away from me, being able to get out and support me and my program. Far as here on campus, everything's been pretty good. You know, we didn't bring all students back, just freshman students, international nursing, and then, you know, certain sports, you know, men and women's basketball. So the classes are ending next week. So all students will be going home, and then men and women's basketball will remain on campus to get ready for a season. You know, so we haven't had any cases or anything. Everybody's been tight-knit, you know, staying in a bubble. You know, it's been good far as just being able to house our teams together. Normally in a regular school year, everybody's dispersed around campus, but with it being COVID and not a lot of students on campus, we've been able to keep all our student athletes together in certain dorms, and they kind of like, you know, in their own little bubble, and they can, you know, lift weights together, eat lunch and dinner together, and come and practice together. So it's been good on that aspect, but, you know, it's just been kind of empty on campus. Which, you know, you're really just taking classes online and coming to the gym and getting your weights in and your practice time in and staying after to get extra shots up. So that's been the new norm for us, and just trying to keep the students engaged and keep them upbeat with the times right now. But, you know, just getting them looking forward to the season coming up.
What type of adjustments have you had to make versus your normal routine? Because obviously weren't able to do summer workouts due to COVID. The fall routine has changed. Probably, I don't know if you guys are able to work out in the traditional groups or type of adjustments that you've had to make. Would you care to share some of those adjustments you've had to make as far as getting into your routine to prepare for this season?
Well, me as a coach, I typically like to do a lot of things off campus before we even get started. I'm big on family and team bonding. So when you bring in a new core, whether it's transfers, freshmen, I like for the team to get acclimated with each other, where we get out in the community, do some community service, have some fun with each other, go out and just, you know, have some bowling, laser tag, you know, just, you know, movie night, game night, you know, things of that nature, where they get a chance to get a feel and know each other outside of basketball. We haven't been able to do that this year because, you know, they just don't want the students out in the community, out in the public, you know, with that chance of bringing COVID back to the university. So just strategically this year, trying to do things that we can be creative here on campus. We had like a movie night. We'd had like a lip sync battle night where we just select a few songs and we perform in front of each other, or, you know, just trying to watch, you know, little inspiring videos and just do that to be creative here on campus. But out of the new norm, we had to start off preseason in groups of 3 or 4. We had to do that for almost 4 weeks, where we couldn't have the full unit together because of the new regulations and rules. You couldn't have more than 10 people in the weight room or in the gym at the same time. So 7 players, 3 coaches doing an hour practice session, and you got to run the whole practice back again and bring the other 7 in. So it's been rough, for the first 4 weeks, but that's what's part of the requirement and acclimation this year. And so we had to get accustomed to that. In the weight room, they had to lift the same way, 6 or 7 in the weight room at a time. And then the next group would have to come in. So we got through that phase where we got through the first 4 weeks of acclimation in groups where we had 0 negative tests. We had no positive tests at that time. So once you showed the results of no negative tests, and then we were able to bring everybody together for weightlifting and practices now, with trying to keep a mask on, and weights in gym as much as possible.
Now, you bring up something interesting. And being a former basketball coach, I've got to ask this question. Mm-hmm. How do you scrimmage when you only got 7 players allowed to be in a workout at the same time? Because you and I both know there are certain drills that you run based upon having numbers of players, certain full court drills, certain half court drills, because you're able to get those players in and out. Obviously, you can't scrimmage with 7. So how are you able to do that, number one? And then number two, that not so much as chemistry, but the timing that you need to play this game. How are you able to do that? Or do you see that as a possible early season challenge? That's something that you may have to, as you go through the non-conference portion of your season, try to just have to deal with.
Right. You absolutely hit it right on the nose. It's going to be tough this year without any scrimmages or exhibitions. You're just going right into the season. And like I mentioned earlier, we had to only practice with 7. So even with that, not even having a full team in the gym to be able to have, offense versus defense, more so we try to be strategical as coaches and try to have 7 in each position, where I might have a point guard, 2 wings, a forward, and a post in that first 7. And then you have the same in the second group, whereas now you're getting sets in at least, or you're getting terminology of defensive shell, where you're pretty much still going to be having that rotation. Coaches play the perimeter and passing, where you're just still structuring shell, defense, foot movement, and then you're running it again for the second unit. So now that we're all together, is just pretty much trying to make practices game situational, where we're practicing routine all week, and then we're trying to have an inter squad scrimmage on Saturdays, where now I'm developing my assistant coaches, where I have them step up, and one assistant coach one team, the other coach is another team, and I go in the bleachers and evaluate both sides, take notes while we're recording practice as well, where we can bring them in and show what we need them to see, and I can critique, things, or after each quarter, I come on the court and critique both teams on what we need to improve on going into the next quarter. So that's how we've been having to do things, and it ain't gonna get no easier for us, especially with the schedule I put together this year. I threw my unit right in the fire. So we have 4 Division I games, opening up with George Washington, and the week after we got Syracuse, and then we playing St. Joe's, and then we got Delaware State. So this is the first that this has happened since I've been here, but it's just kind of unheard of for a Division II program to play as many Division I's. And, I was all full of challenge. In order to be the best, you got to play and coach against some of the best. And so that's what I wanted to do this year with some of the success we've been having in the past. Just go ahead and challenge my unit early in the year and try to get prepared for conference play.
All right, Coach. Finished 23-6 last year. A disappointing 23-6. And it's hard to say disappointing when you have a 20-win season, but unfortunately you were on the outside looking in to the national tournament.
Absolutely.
With last season. Of course, last season's team, a couple key players that were lost off of last season's team: Kwanzaa Burry, Deasia Young, Kenzie Spencer, Alicia Machado. So, talk about the disappointment of not getting to the big dance when COVID hit last year. And then number 2, how much those players that I mentioned, other players that you've lost to graduation, natural matriculation, or whatever, how much they're going to be missed for this upcoming season?
Okay. Well, it definitely stung last year after we got eliminated. We definitely set a lot of goals and standards for the season. I wouldn't say it was a complete letdown because we accomplished a lot of firsts last year. First time being regionally ranked in school history, first time being nationally ranked in school history. Me receiving Coach of the Year, also having Player of the Year, who went on to be an All-American and make Sports Illustrated. So we had some good things accomplished last year. But we definitely wanted to win the whole tournament, CIAA, and get an at-large bid, But, we just used to not really getting the respect. So that's how we approach everything. Nothing's going to be given to us. We got to earn everything. Even with the conference divisional title, we felt like, we were 6-2. We should have been crowned the Northern champs. And then we was ruled that, Virginia Union had a better cross-divisional record when, that's never been the case. You play in the North, you should be the Northern champ, So we beat them by 30. They beat us by 15. We had the same record. We should be the Northern champs. But, it was a ruling made at the last minute. We just had to go along with it. And then even with the seeding to the national tournament, we were going 23-6. We had two teams that we had better records than, but they still get an at-large bid, So it was kind of frustrating to my unit, my team, that, we had to explain and just say, look, it's not our time. We're not there yet. We had to continue to work. And so, with the expectation for this season and finishing out the year, Kwanzaa Mary and Deasia Young, who was pretty much our go-to players, were banged up at the end of the year. Everybody knows you got to have your horses on the court. And Kwanzaa Mary was only about 70% and Deasia Young was only about 60%. And so other teams knew it. I was trying to strategically rest them at the end of the year, but each game still being important for seeding and still having able to win the Northern Division. So trying to play them spot minutes here and there and let them close out games. But other teams knew, and they approached them hard. They attacked them hard. They blitzed them hard on, hedges and screens of that nature. But, just in the tournament, they were all bandaged up, kinesio tape, all over their bodies. And Deasia had knee problems. Kwanzaa had Achilles injury and ankle, where she didn't even have the lift and, scoring capability because of her Achilles heel. So we still had our chances to win, despite they weren't healthy. We missed a lot of layups and free throws, still to lose by 4. So you can't do nothing but just get prepared, get over it, and continue to grind and fight, but also still praise those who are part of last year's team of the accomplishments we made, because now they're still in the history books, looking forward.
All right. Now let's transition to 2020, 2021. Mm-hmm. A couple of key players, Brianna Brown, who will be back, Joy Morton, Ms. Patterson. So talk about those, what they bring to your team, and then anybody else who I left off of that short list that I put out.
Yeah, so that's a good core we have coming back, with Bree Brown, one of the top scorers off of last year's team and shooting ability. We're looking forward her to lead this year. And step up and have a bigger scoring role for us. Joy Morton is probably our most versatile player who can play the 1 through 5. So she brings us energy, whether it's off the bench or starting. She can, post people up. She can beat people off the dribble. She can stretch the floor. So it's good to have somebody like Joy in our team, because she just creates all types of mismatches and intangibles on the floor. Skydasia Patterson, she was a big-time recruit for us last year, where we felt like she didn't really have the season that we expected. So she has a little chip on her shoulder this year, ready to show what, she left out last year. But we also bring in a lot of firepower, losing, like you said, Machado, Mackenzie Spencer, Deasia Young, and Kwanzaa Brown, who's Player of the Year. We had to reload quickly and bring in some impact right away. And so we went the transfer route, bring in, 4 Division I transfers who's going to come in and play substantial minutes. And we had a couple of D2 transfers that's going to be athletic, that's going to be able to run the floor and to defend. I'm a defensive-minded coach. And so it's going to start on the defensive end. We're going to get steals. We're going to be up-tempo and try to get out in transition. Offensively, right now, we're still evaluating to see where those points are going to come from. I know we're going to score on defense, but, still in the half-court set. And offensively, you need people to step up and score. And it ain't going to be like last year where we had Kwanzaa Mary that could just take over a game. I feel like this year is going to be a little bit more collectively where we might have 4 or 5 people averaging double figures and we score and be spread out that way. But it's definitely going to start on the defensive end where we create offense from steals and getting to the free throw line. But we're still working on who's going to be that primary player who can score the ball and who wants the ball at the end of the game.
Yeah, and you kind of led into my next question. I noticed you got a lot of transfers that'll be coming in from other universities. Pretty sure you got some freshmen in that crop also. Talk about some of those players. Where we're going to see them at on the court, because a lot of obviously the fans haven't seen Lincoln play, haven't seen any scrimmages or anything like that. So that whether they're going to be wings, whether they're going to be posts, just kind of talk about all this new blood we're going to see in the blue and orange.
Okay, so we have Chriselle Gordy, Division II transfer, coming in, and Gina Witherspoon, another Division II transfer. Both athletic, both can run the floor extremely well, very quick and versatile defensively. Both can score it on the inside. Gina's more of a stretch forward who can shoot the ball from the outside and put the ball on the ground. Gordy is a big-time rebounder, shot blocker, and can run the floor and finish on the inside. Brung in Jade Young from Philadelphia, so in-state kid. That was a Division I transfer from Hartford. She's a big guard, lefty, about 5'9.5", can play the point, but also can play some wing as well. But grooming her at the point, she played point at Hartford. She's a kid that can see the floor extremely well, working on her shot consistently, but just a playmaker, drawing defense and diming it off to the shooters or the posts. We have Brianna Richardson, who was at St. Peter's, was on the all-rookie team there. Her freshman year, she's a kid that can more of a combo, can play on the point or off the ball, can shoot the three, can get to the basket. Felina Holmes, post player that was at St. Peter's as well. So they came together looking for more of an inside presence from her, just, changing shots, rebounding, putbacks, and just being that glue on the inside. And then I'm missing one here. Who I'm missing? It ain't even coming to me right now. Oh, we have
Witherspoon.
Gina Witherspoon. Then we have Kenya Pollock that was at
okay.
She's come highly recommended, coming off an injury. So we still waiting for her to get in tip-top shape, but once we signed her, I got a lot of phone calls and emails and texts saying, man, how'd you pull that off? This kid can flat out play. And so especially our pipeline has been New York, New Jersey. So I got a lot of just fans and supporters in those areas just that, said this kid is highly recommended. And we're starting to see spurts and practices now that she's getting in shape. She's coming off a tailbone injury. And so once she gets in shape, I think she can be somebody that can score the ball for us. She's been showing streaks and flashes in practice. We're really just trying to get everybody to step it up on the defensive end, just getting them to buy into my mindset of this is how we're going to approach every game. And I believe if you take care of the defensive end, the offense is going to come. So just getting them to buy into defense first, and then, the offense is going to come, whether it's through steals, transition, and then that's when you become a playmaker once you get yourself going on the defensive end.
All right. CIAA, traditionally the best basketball conference when it comes to the HBCUs. Although on the Division II level, the SIAC has stepped up its game, and those few times when you do play crossovers, has given you guys a run for your money. But we're going to stick with the CIAA. You're in the Northern Division. What team, I guess, I don't want to say scares you the most, but what team probably do you feel is going to be the most competitive for you? Because obviously every coach thinks they're going to win their half of the conference. So what team do you suggest that we as a lay fan need to watch out for besides Lincoln University on the northern half?
On the northern side, and this just to CIAA in general, we got some very good coaches, and everybody does a very good job bringing in talent, and we all get up to play each other. There's really no night off in the CIAA, and I tell my kids that all the time. Far as the North, the powerhouse has been Virginia Union, and I know Coach Anne-Marie Gilbert, who done a phenomenal job there, just left and, went Division I. But that was always my primary matchup. I stayed up at night. I couldn't sleep, knowing we had Virginia Union coming up. So as a coach, you try not to look ahead. You might got Elizabeth City on Monday and Union on Thursday, and you already watching film that week ahead on Virginia Union. So that was the team that, made me a better coach, that got my team up to play. We had our battles, so I was able to upset them a couple of times while they were nationally ranked. And then she always had my number when we come to their place. And so we have a high respect for each other. We still talk to this day, even though she's transitioned on. But when she would get prepared for us, she would tell her team the same. It's something about coming up to playing you at Lincoln. You get your team up to play against me. But we also have the same type of system. We play the same, and we like the same type of kids. Kids I bring on a visit, and I'm like, what else you have on the table? And Virginia Union, that'd be it. And I'm like, oh, why is she finding out about you? You from New York or you from Connecticut? How she find out about you? And it was just vice versa. She called me saying, look, you on my same kid. And so it basically come down to getting them up on campus, getting the visit, and may the best team wins. And so Virginia Union has been the powerhouse, of the CIAA in whole, but especially in the North. And then Bowie State, Sade Swan does a phenomenal job teaching defense. So you might have the best scorers in the world, and they just target defense. They're going to box out. They're going to be disciplined. So that's always a game you got to have some counters and watch a lot of film on, because they like to play that matchup zone. They're not going to come out of it. They want to play a slow tempo game. So if you're not clicking offensively, it's going to be a long night, because they're going to stall the ball. They're not looking to score quick in transition. So they're a very disciplined team. One of the top 2 teams or 3 teams in the country in defense. So you got to have some people that can score on them, attack that defense, that zone, and you got to make free throws against them, or it's going to be a long night. So it's some good coaches in the league that does a phenomenal job recruiting and just getting their teams ready to play.
Now we're gonna flip it out to the South. That one team from the southern half of the conference that just gives you nightmares, gives you fits every year.
Well, it's been Fayetteville State lately. Coach Serena has done a phenomenal job. I feel like that's one of the better jobs in the league as far as just facility and resources. So she's going to get high-level players in their transfers. When you get them on campus, they got the, enormous gem that it sells itself, So having resources is very important, being able to seal the deal when kids get on campus for scholarships. But then when you got the facilities to match, it's a perfect situation. So she's doing a good job getting kids in there, getting them interested, getting them on visits. And Johnson C. Smith has been another school that's getting high-level players in there. So when it comes to the South, I would say, Fayetteville State and Johnson C. Smith are the premier top 2. And then here lately, Winston-Salem has been blossoming. That's the team that eliminated us out of the tournament. Coach has been doing a phenomenal job getting players in there. And then, just that game day atmosphere down at Winston, they bring a kid on a visit and they get to see that environment. What kid wouldn't want to play in front of that? So Winston-Salem has been peaking these last 2 years. And they kind of loaded this year. Some kids we were recruiting that she ended up landing. So Winston definitely should be a team that makes some noise this year with the recruits that they brought in.
All right. Well, once again, we're talking with Lincoln, Pennsylvania Lions, Lady Lions head coach Darrell Mosley. And we're going to get ready to get you out of here on these last couple of questions. Like to have a little bit of fun, and I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I am going to ask you a couple of intriguing questions.
Okay.
Number one, outside of coming to your gym, what gym can I go to and get the best atmosphere for a basketball game in the conference?
Winston-Salem.
Winston-Salem. All right. Next question. Visit all these other beautiful HBCU campuses. Outside of your campus, what campus do you enjoy visiting? They're not talking about basketball, just in general. What campus do you enjoy visiting on the road trips?
I would have to say I like Fayetteville State's campus and Virginia State. Virginia State has nice facilities. And then when you get inside that arena, it's just like, wow, how can you compete against this? So those are 2 I actually walk around and try to just get notes, mental notes, and try to bring it back, to my university. Some of the things we've seen, I'm like, man, we got to step it up. This is what they got at these other schools. And so Fayetteville State and Virginia State have very beautiful campuses.
All right. And last question. you guys have a pretty decent home court advantage there. You know, you've always got a good home record. What 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 do you think gives you guys such a distinct home court advantage?
Well, I think that's something that, I myself took pride in just trying to create. I was on the men's side here as well for 5 years, and it was a rough start. Just slow, just trying to build the culture around here where the students would just get up and walk out. Whether you winning at the end of games or you losing, it was just something about the generation that, 2 minutes left, win or losing, they getting up, walking out. And so it's to the point where we just started cultivating relationships with the student, the SAC committee, the student government committee. We start going to go eat in the cafeteria with the students and not in the faculty and staff lounge, and just show more face, around campus where, we're actually calling them over in the cafeteria saying, we have a game tonight. I need you guys there. Just talking with the band students, and they're engaging students to stay at games. And we had to start winning. We honestly had to start winning. So once I transitioned over to the women's side, I continued to go in the cafeteria. I continued to show up at, student events on campus, and we letting them know that we're visible on campus, but we need you guys visible at our games. We end up having a DJ now come to our games, of which all the students love to hear music and just hear stuff at halftime and, perform at halftime. We're starting to do more crowd engagement things and giveaways at halftime. But I feel like the winning helped cure some of that, because now the students have something to have pride and look forward to. And not walk out. We're starting to do the alma mater after games. And so it's just tradition that we're trying to bring. And then I had to go sit down with, the SGA president and say, these are some of our concerns. We need the students to stay, because when we go on the road, we got an environment that we got to face the band, we got to face the crowd, they got signs up, and we got to.
And you got to play the referees.
And the referees. And so that's why I said we have to create that same environment here, where now the band and the SAC and student government orchestrated a 6-man club where it's about 60, 80 students that sit in one section. They heckle the other team. They sit next to the band. We transitioned our band next to the opposing team bench. So we have to create that same atmosphere here. And so we're just really cultivating the relationship on campus with the students and giving them something to look forward to. And we doing better promotion here on campus, where we getting the information out in Student Wire or putting campus social media out, where in the past, some of the students didn't even know about the game, so now we're branding it, putting it out on websites, putting it out on social media where they see it. And now it gives them something to do. So it's the Lions Den. You can't come into the Lions Den and get a win. And so phenomenal job at home this past year, going 14-1. Of course, I'd have loved to, go perfect, but, that still was a record we broke last year, 14-1, best record in school history.
All right. Coach, using basketball lingo, I'm gonna let you freelance on this play right here. Anything that you want to get off your chest, want to say to your fans, to your supporters, anything, the floor is yours. You get to talk for a couple of minutes.
Really just, stay tuned. We've been working extremely hard in these rough times right now. Really, it's tough, no fans this year, but we asking everybody still support by logging on and watching us live, and, just showing your support on the Lincoln Athletic page. We're going to continue to promote and brand our program. We're playing a high-level schedule this year. So continue to support, Lincoln Athletics. Give back, if you can. And we're just looking to get through this year, put out a good product for you guys, and hopefully this COVID thing ends soon and we can get everybody back on campus. So just continue to, pray for us and have traveling mercies. And we're going to continue to do our thing out here at Lincoln.
You bet you give back. All right, so I need you to tell everybody where to send that check, and please make sure that check. Well, I'm not gonna say please make sure it has a comma in it, but I'm pretty sure a coach would like for that check to have a comma in there somewhere to help out his programs. In addition to telling them where they can send their financial contributions to support Lincoln Athletics, tell them where we can follow you at on social media. And of course, if I got about a 6'4", 6'5" girl that I need to send to you, where can I send that information to you also, Coach?
Oh, absolutely. So if you want to donate or send a check, definitely make it out to Lincoln Athletics. Attention to Lincoln Women's Basketball. Far as email, you can reach me at dmosley, DMOSLEY @lincoln.edu. Far as Twitter and Instagram, I'm DMOSLU, DMOSELU on Twitter and Instagram.
All right, Coach. We appreciate your time. I don't say good luck on the season. I think luck is for those who don't practice hard and need the ball to bounce their way in order to execute. Continue to work hard is what I would tell you to, and good things will happen to you, Coach.
Absolutely. I greatly appreciate this time. Continue to do what you're doing as well, and you stay safe as well.
All right, we appreciate you, Coach. And for Coach Darrell Mosley of Lincoln University of Pennsylvania, this is AD Drew with another BCSN Conversation. We thank you, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Follow the Black College Sports Network on social media at MyBCSN1, the number 1, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at MyBCSN1. Support the Black College Sports Network so we can continue to provide you coverage. Go to myjbn.com/support and be a part of the Black College Sports Network.
Industry was hurting, but I done bandaged her up. Now I got too sick with it. Now we done found us on a pro sound. Look, I be tearing the speakers up and we shaking the whole ground. Found pros in this profession, we calling that profound. Studio in every city, I'm calling that yo town. Some of these words that I'm using make me wanna throw down, but I got humbled in my veins and learned to tone it down. Major league when I'm pitching, I'm needing the pitcher's mound. Shake the room with my powers and knocking the pitches down. Trying to teach you business first and put your pitches down. Major.